And on this Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025 edition of Newsmakers, St. Peter's Basilica flooded today with thousands of people wanting to pay their respects to Pope Francis. Francis will lie in state for 3 days before Saturday's funeral that's expected to draw at least 250,000 people. More from Tricia Thomas.
On Saturday, they will have the funeral for Pope Francis, and they're expecting dignitaries from all over the world, including U.S. President Donald Trump, President Macron of France, Zelensky of Ukraine, Keir Starmer of the U.K., Prince William, and Prince Philippe from Spain.
Also today, cardinals met in private to finalize preparations and plan the conclave to elect Francis's successor. Meanwhile, U.S. Vice President JD Vance says it's pretty crazy that he met Pope Francis on Easter Sunday, just hours before his death.
Obviously, when I saw him, I didn't know that he had less than 24 hours still on this earth. I think it was a great blessing. But I think he saw a lot of people. I think he affected a lot of lives. And I try to just, remember that I was lucky that I got to shake his hand.
Speaking to reporters while traveling in India, Vance acknowledged that Francis disagreed with some of the Trump administration's policies.
He also had a lot of agreements with some of the policies of our administration. I'm not going to soil the man's legacy by talking about politics. I think he was a great Christian pastor, and that's how I choose to remember the Holy Father.
U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi has convened a task force to root out anti-Christian bias. Bondi, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. were among the top federal officials at Justice Department headquarters yesterday for the first meeting of the task force. President Trump signed an executive order in February directing the task force to identify unlawful policies, practices, or conduct by all executive departments and agencies and recommend any additional presidential or legislative action. Bondi touted the Trump administration's move to curtail prosecutions against people accused of blocking access to abortion clinics and the dismissal of several cases related to the blockades of clinics. The U.S. Supreme Court's conservative majority is signaling support for the religious rights of Maryland parents who want to remove their children from elementary school classes using storybooks with LGBTQ characters. The court seemed likely yesterday to find the Montgomery County school system could not require elementary school children to sit through lessons involving the books if parents expressed religious objections to them. And that's Newsmakers for this Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025 edition. I'm Keith Black.